Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, 𝗘𝗀𝗁𝗃, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management.
Give that information out to you in a couple minutes. And if you are want to communicate with us, a couple different ways. One is the toll-free number, 800-516-1220. You can also text, which a lot of people like to do. That text number is live during the show, 408-838-9060. We have a little bonus time for you on Wednesdays and Fridays, so we're with you Monday through Friday from 3 to 4, and then Wednesdays and Fridays actually from 2 to 4. You could check in and tune in, listen to us a couple different ways. One is on your radio, KDOW 1220 AM. You could also listen to us live online at kdow.biz. And lastly, really excited about our podcast. Launched them a little more than a month ago. Really, really going well, getting a lot of exposure. And so if you want more information or download that podcast, follow us, listen to us anywhere, you could go to reradiolive.com. All right, let me invite my guest in today. She has been on the show before, Doris Pickering. She's a speaking and presentation training expert. Doris, good to have you here today.
Thanks. It's really thrilling to be here.
Good to have you back, I should say.
Hey.
Very, very good. So this is a great topic, and I'll preface before we get started in that presentation, the training, speaking, there's so much important. I mean, there's so much to speaking, presenting, isn't there? Whether it's in, the radio show that we're doing today, if you're in a group of 5 people or 1,000 people, there's a lot to body language, there's a lot to learn, so many different things.
Absolutely.
And by the way, before we get started, just to set the stage, is it still the statistic or the stat that shows that more people are more afraid of speaking in public than dying?
Yes, it's true. And it is interesting because I can't relate to it because I have never been afraid of talking, but it is true.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And it just really is astounding.
Yeah.
So I always say that I help people rather get up and deliver the eulogy rather than being in the coffin.
There you go. Very good.
There's more percentage in that.
That's true. That is true. So Doris is going to take us through a number of different things today, really about why being different is never second best. And so you could apply this as we go through this. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what business, what job. Pay close attention. There's some great information. She's a pro. She does this for a living. And we have one of her students here. Matter of fact, we're going to introduce in just a minute as well. And some testimonials here. So if you have any questions for Doris or me during the show, and always, it's a real estate show as well. So if you have any questions, anything about real estate, give us a call. We can answer those as well. 1-800-516-1220, or you could always text 408-838-9060. When we get started, Doris, tell us a little bit about your background and what led you into this industry and what you're doing today.
Sure. Yes, I started out in the semiconductor industry, actually, and I was always in planning. Mm-hmm. I have always been a planner by nature, so it was second nature for me to get into that. So I was master scheduling, planning, business planning. Mm-hmm. I did that for many years and then went to HP, which was just an awesome opportunity. Mm-hmm. And they, of course, a lot of companies like HP back in the day had many, many training programs. Mm. And they were really key on communications training. Right. So I took advantage of every one that I could take. And now it doesn't seem to be quite so relevant or prevalent, but a lot of them now are online.
Yes.
So the sad thing, though, is you lose that interaction with people. So people may be great texting each other, but they have lost the art of communicating in person or the gift of gab.
It's so true, isn't it? And I know I'm going to sound like a father and a parent and all that, but I'll go for the sake of our conversation. I'll do it anyway. It does concern me with our younger generation.
Right.
They don't have that interaction. What's funny is every once in a while I'll tell my daughters, I say, well, just pick up the phone and call them. No, we don't call.
Why would I do that?
We don't call.
Yeah.
And so that lack of interaction, somehow, I mean, each generation has their unique kind of characteristics, the way they handle things. I get that and communicate in this case. But you're right, a lot of the online activity now, you're seeing a lot of video, which is very popular. But now that's another form of communication itself, right? Because now you have to worry more about body language and facial expression and all that other stuff.
Right. And if you're outside, is it windy or is the airplanes coming or the fire hydrants going off?
Yes, very good. All right. Well, before we get started here, too, why don't you introduce our guest and friend here today with us, because you're going to ask him a little bit about since he's worked with you, and why don't you introduce Ernie for us today?
Well, this is one of my most favorite people ever, Ernie Kong. He is a former police officer with the San Jose police force. He retired as a lieutenant and fell in love with real estate. And for him, it was a perfect fit. So we met at the Capital Club, actually, last year. And I've been working with him for about a year. Mm-hmm. But it's just been really inspirational. So I was really happy to see him walk through the door for this broadcast.
Very good. Welcome, Ernie.
Thank you. And I'm so pleased to be here to talk to both of you. I met Doris, as she said, at the Capital Club. And as a new realtor, I was looking at an effective way to market my business, mm-hmm. and not only to increase my public speaking skills. As a realtor, and I'm sure there's plenty of realtors out there, we get bombarded daily with 5 to 10 emails and anonymous, annoying phone calls on our cell phone, pitching the latest marketing technique, the latest gadget, the latest mailing campaign mm-hmm. on how to increase your business. Yeah. Well, just from a personal standpoint, I mean, when I see those things come through the mail, I don't even look at them. And I'm a realtor. And I didn't even look at them before I was a realtor. But the bottom line is all those services come at a cost. So you're looking at anywhere from a couple $100 a month to over thousands of dollars a month, depending on the type mm-hmm. of reach that you want to do. So I really was looking at alternative marketing methods that would help me stand out amongst the sea of realtors that we have here in Silicon Valley. That's where Doris came in. She was able to set me up with a program, not only myself, but other students in not only the real estate industry, but industries throughout the spectrum. As a result, through our training and how she was able to show us how to set ourselves apart, I actually was able to have some practice. I think it was last week sometime we had a fundraiser for one of the local charities. And mm-hmm. as part of the fundraiser, we were able to actually give our little spiel on promoting our individualized business.
Right.
Because of that, after I was giving my little talk on what I was about and the services that I offered, I was actually approached by 2 people. And they says, you know what, we really loved your presentation and your speech, but gosh darn it, I wish we'd have known you a month ago because we had just, purchased a property. He says, okay, well, that's fine, but I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. So that was really a positive reinforcement. And then prior to the end of the evening, I was approached by another person, and they were asking me some questions, and my presentation was about purchasing either an investment property or second home in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And the lady came up to me and says, you know what, we just purchased one. I'm thinking, okay, well, I missed out on this opportunity. But she says, you know what, we're actually thinking about buying another one. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Very good.
So whether or not that turns out to be anything, I mean, I was ecstatic. Because how much marketing did that cost me? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
So moving forward, I think, like you folks were saying earlier, the best marketing is you being able mm-hmm. to connect with your client.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Not through a text, not through an email, not through Yelp or whatever the latest gadget is. Because the bottom line is you have to have a comfort level with your client mm-hmm. and vice versa. And the majority of your job is negotiation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much negotiation is done through Facebook, Yelp, Instagram, etc.
Yeah, that's a great illustration, Ernie. Those are all, we need technology, we use technology, but I agree with you 100%. I think the thing that you hit on is that the interpersonal skills, when you get in front of people, whether it's one person or a group or your client, it's developing that relationship. The relationship is going to be why these people want to work with you one way or another, whether it's now, somewhere down the road. I've always said for years, I think 2 things have to happen. And our businesses are similar. They have to like you, and they have to trust you. Mm-hmm. Most people need those 2 things. You have to like someone if you want to work with them, right? Nice person, love the way he operates, she operates. But also there's got to be an element of trust there. And so the ability that Doris has walked you through, the training, and now you put it to use recently, you saw the benefits, as you had mentioned, right out of the gate of being in front of people, presenting you, your image, and what you stand for, and you saw the positive benefits.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, what I'd like to say also is he was paddling around in Hawaii, and also just happened to casually mention somebody else paddling in the boat, that they actually happen to be from Sunnyvale. And, oh, what do you do? Well, I sell real estate in Hawaii. Really? We're looking to move to Hawaii. And again, so you don't have to be in a formal presentation in front of people. It's just, people are curious about each other. And so it's always great to know what you do when somebody asks.
Get out there and meet people and get away from the office. That's always good things always happen. Well, let's talk a little bit about, let's get started, Doris, talk a little bit about why, we touched on it. Ernie did a great job at illustrating why, an example of the training, what he's doing, being in front of people. Give us an idea or a sense of why it's more important, even more important today than it might have been maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Right. Well, I think one of the things is just that alone will set you away from the crowd. Mm-hmm. If you go out speaking in public or you put on your own workshops or you're part of a panel. Okay. Because so many people hide behind social media, they don't go out, and so people don't know who you are versus just a page on Facebook. Right. And my philosophy is people sign up for whoever is in front of them. Yeah. So you want to be that person in front of people. I recently went and heard a financial planner give a talk, and this was when HP a couple years ago was doing their big reduction. So there's probably 20 people from HP. Mm-hmm. They had fabulous pensions, a lot of money, and this really nice gentleman did his 30-minute talk, and he walked away with probably 10 clients. Wow. So you figure he must have made at least $500,000, at least, in a 30-minute talk. So again, it's like it behooves people to embrace this and take it seriously. Yeah,
I would agree with you 100%. Well, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, much, much more. So I'll throw out there before we take our break is, doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you have any questions about how important speaking, presenting, getting that proper training, getting in front of people, give us a call. Check in 1-800-516-1220, or you could text to 408-838-9060. It's Joe 𝗘𝗀𝗓 Radio Live. We are joined today for the entire hour in studio by Doris Pickering. She is a speaking and presentation training expert. The topic today is why being different is never second best. And it's so. And again, I'll say, for those that just may be tuning in now, you may be seeing, Jay, this comes up a lot. You guys all have topics just because I love assortment of different topics. And sometimes people might be saying, well, gee, what does this have to do with real estate? This has to do, this conversation, this topic, this has to do with really everything in life. If you're any kind of business, I don't care what kind of business you're in, really, whether you're in landscaping or you're a painter or designer or a real estate agent or in financing, it doesn't really matter. There's not many jobs or not many, really, as you go through life, where you don't interact with people. And then it becomes, for us, and we'll get into this topic, you guys, I'd love to hear both of your feedback on it, is when you're in a business where being in front of people, it makes a difference who they choose, right? If you're a commission person or even in finances or investments, there's so many different, and it doesn't even have to be commission. In so many cases, you see it all the time, we all do. What is the difference? How do people stand out? There's all kinds of studies, how they look, their body language, the first 10 seconds, people know, all those types of things. But there is so much to it when you're in front of people. We gave some examples, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about, some of the real estate industry, some of the things you see, and use that as an example, because we have a lot of people, that are in the real estate business, all kinds of aspects of the business around that listen to the show and participate. So talk a little bit about personally and professionally and why that's so important.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting to me that about half of my clients are real estate industry professionals. Okay. So either real estate or loan officers or brokers. Okay. And one of the things that, like what you said, the first 10 seconds, it's really a tenth of a second.
Yeah, it's quick, isn't it?
It's a tenth of a second with your audio as well as your visual. Wow. And so people like yourself or Ernie have a distinct advantage because you're tall, you're handsome, you turn heads the second you walk in the room. I turn heads when I walk in the room because I come in full of energy and I usually have a big smile on my face, but it evokes energy. Yeah. And I go to so many networking events and, like you said, stand up and do your elevator pitch, but it's always interesting to me how many people refuse to stand up.
That's amazing.
And that alone is like, don't you stand up, please stand up. But people, their face, they just don't look like they're enjoying themselves. So again, it's this energy, and people feel energy.
They do.
So if you aren't yourself energized, then the people you're talking to are not going to be energized. It doesn't matter what you're saying or what industry you're in. So if you can't even project your own energy, then that's another thing. It's like, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There's so many examples. I love this topic because, I don't care if I go in a restaurant or a business. It is amazing. And now in my business, too, because I'm more focused on it, it could be a receptionist. It could be someone that's serving your meal. It doesn't matter. It is in complete difference when that person makes eye contact with you, when you walk in and they smile, can I help you, make you welcome. And then if you had a videotape of someone right next doing the same thing but just the opposite, it leaves such an impression immediately.
Exactly.
When you have that. And again, this is why it's so important. It doesn't matter what we do. In this case, we're talking about the real estate. You work with a lot of these people.
Right.
But for us, it's extremely important because it could make the difference on whether someone's going to work with you and buy a $2 million home or a $1 million loan or in any case. So it's so important for so many different levels. And the last thing I want to say is that I learned a lesson through a lot of this, too, is hiring people on my team. Years ago, I read a great book. It was by 𝗥𝗱𝗏, who had started Southwest Airlines. Yeah. And one of the things that I'll never forget is their hiring practice. They talked about how important it was. You always wonder, why are all the people working there so happy for this company? So his comment from day one when they started their company is hire for attitude and train for skill.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it. There's so much to that, isn't it?
Exactly. Whether you're in the high-tech world, because my husband is a hiring manager, and he will hire people without the skills because of their attitude, and they will fit and be part of the team. Because if you're not part of that team, then it's bad news. Yeah,
no, it really is, and there's so much to that. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, this is a great topic, really exciting. If you have any questions for Doris or me, or Ernie, 1-800-516-1220. Show any of us, 1-800-516-1220. Or you could always text 408-838-9060. The one thing, Doris, I want to get to, because this is no matter what topic I have, I think this is the one of the most important things. Someone's listening, and they're thinking, God, you're right, Doris. I should do this. I think this is really something for me. I need to really get off really get off the edge here and test myself and really see if I could take this to the next level. So one of the things is how do they take the first step to really make them different? What would you suggest to someone that's out there today listening or thinking, what do I really need to do? I need those skills. I know that. I'm kind of nervous about it. I know that I could see the benefits of people that speak well. What would be some of the recommendations you would have for them?
Well, there's several steps that people can do depending on their comfort level. Okay. So, of course, one of the first ones I would always say is reach out to somebody like myself, an independent, impartial coach, because people who get coaching, it's, studies far and wide, people excel when they get independent coaching. Because, I help people. I don't have to sit down at Thanksgiving dinner with them. And like, so if you ask your friends and family,
right.
there may be ramifications. You know, they may be, oh, you're perfect. Or they may not be very supportive and say, why are you spending money or wasting money, or that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
You know, so you can start out with your friends and family or colleagues or coworkers, but just know that sometimes they will not give a partial, impartial opinion.
Yeah.
So again, you know, people can go to Toastmasters. You know, Toastmasters is an awesome organization. I have done Toastmasters, and again, you have to know how to differentiate yourself. So I know how I differentiate myself from Toastmasters. Again, they're great, but I help people talk about, say, you and your business and how do you differentiate yourself from everybody versus just being confident. And I also do it quickly, because Toastmasters can take a long time.
Yeah. Well, we'll give your information out towards the end, too. But since we're talking about that, if someone was interested in contacting you to figure out how you might be able to help them, what's the best way to reach you?
Oh, my website is getitdonewithdoris.com.
Wow, like that.
Get it done. And my email is doris@getitdonewithdoris, and that's Doris with one R, DORIS.
Very good.
And also my phone number is 408-410-9006.
So you're saying also what I heard from you, and I'd love to hear maybe from Ernie again, either before we go to break or after break, is that everybody should have a unique value proposition, I should say. So the message I got was don't try to be like the guy next door or the gal next door.
Exactly.
Look at someone, oh my God, I want to be like them. It's one thing to admire someone the way they articulate themselves or speak, but it's another thing to be careful that you use your own unique proposition, right?
Exactly, because there's so many people that I admire, but I'm not them, and I will never be them.
Right.
So take what you admire and then make it yourself. So Ernie, you might want to chip in on that because...
Well, what I'm going to do, we're going to take another quick break. No, it's okay. This is a short segment. When we come back, and I want to check in with Ernie a little bit about that and see exactly. Obviously, he's got really some great skills since working with you, but a little bit about your feedback, the apprehension, and maybe how you felt when you got started, and some other questions. So when we come back, we'll do that.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, much more fun stuff, exciting stuff. If you have any questions, 1-800-516-1220, text 408, not matter, and joined in the studio today by Doris Pickering, is speaking and presentation training expert. Teaches hundreds of people around the Bay Area and much more to really prepare themselves for speaking, engaging, whether it's job or just interacting. It's all the things that we could all benefit from. And also one of her students, esteemed students, is sitting next to her. Ernie is a real estate agent as well. So, Ernie, what I wanted to do is ask you is, obviously, you've seen the benefits already. You illustrated that early on by working with Doris. But take a step back, if you would, for a person who knew, maybe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you knew this is something you want to do. You knew you had to maybe improve in these skill sets. What did that feel like? And take us through the process of, okay, I know I need to do this, but how do I do it? Who do I choose? And kind of take us through that process that actually got you to make that decision and get to where you are today and making progress like you are.
Certainly, Joe. I've always had anxiety about public speaking, and I still do, and I will till the day I die. But it's just something that, people have to get over with. Mm-hmm. When I first met Doris, I think that attracted me to her was just her general persona as a nice person. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all want to work with people who we can connect to, and whether or not the business works out, the bottom line is if you make a friend, you've made progress. Mm-hmm. What I liked about Doris's program, although as sweet as she is, it was all about business, right? The first order of business was, okay, well, how do you differentiate yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So during that initial 5 to 10 minute interview, she had taken away all my concerns, all my fears. Okay, this is where you're strong, and this is where you need to move forward. Okay. So not a moment was wasted. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was concerned about going into coaching of this type, what I didn't want to be is I didn't want to be so perfect, the speakers that you see on TV, the speakers that you see on the media, that immediately, although the presentation is perfect, they have absolutely zero credibility. You know, that they're just out there to sell the latest gadget, right? So what I like about Doris is that she stresses connection, not perfection. Hey, if you mess up a line, no big deal. If you forget your line, no big deal. Your main job is to connect with your audience, and I really believe that, because people will be more forgiving if they think you're an actual person, and not you know, a machine. And oh my God, that the diction was perfect, everything was perfect, the guy's hair was perfect, the suit was perfect, everything
His
was
hair
perfect.
and suit is always perfect,
Right.
but no.
but the point being, I mean, no matter how perfect your social media is, no matter how perfect your Instagram account is, sooner or later you're going to have to talk to your client.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to have to talk to your client face to face and establish that bond.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's established a you know, intimate relationship with their Instagram or Facebook, but I may be wrong.
Yeah. Now, Doris, he brings up a good point. I want to ask you as I think about this with what Ernie just said, and that is, don't people have so much more respect for someone that is imperfect? In other words, whether you're giving a speech or I don't care what you're doing, I do.
Right.
When I hear someone or something's going on, I do. I mean, that's real.
Right. Exactly.
It's real. They're not trying to be something they aren't. They make a mistake. They laugh at themselves. They have the ability to do that, to move on.
Right.
I think most people could appreciate and respect
Absolutely, and that's what one of my other, I'm developing all these favorite mantras, but one of them is embrace your muffs, because we all muff it.
Yeah.
And you can either make a joke out of it and move on, or just keep moving on, because there isn't a person on the planet that doesn't make a mistake. And if you are, you wouldn't want to hang out with them anyway. So, you know.
That's true.
Got to keep it real.
So if someone's wanting to use your services or expertise, so do you have one-on-ones? Do you have sessions?
Yep.
Do you have seminars? Talk a little bit about the different levels or different degree in which you teach people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I usually do is just see what their interest level is.
Okay.
So I always have usually it's a 30 to a 60-minute interview process, if you want to say that, just to see if they are interested in proceeding. I can see exactly where do they need help, because different people are different. Some people are already one of my clients is already in the media. She has no fear of public speaking. She just wants to develop it higher.
Right.
Other people are just absolutely mortified speaking with somebody. So I figure out where they are and what they need. I have private individual coaching. I have a 6-month speaking class, and then I put on various workshops on various topics.
Ah, okay. So any different levels of that nature of all. And it doesn't matter the industry or the profession or expertise. Right. I mean, it really doesn't, right? You can work with anybody that needs these skill sets to try to hone them.
Right, and I love it. I've learned so much about so many different industries. It's really fun, and for me, I love it just because I can have a conversation with somebody and truly help them and see them turn their light on. It's just great. Yeah, absolutely great.
Do you have, and I'm sure all the different degrees, someone that comes to you that is petrified, maybe just scared to death? Oh my God, I don't even know if I could, read 2 sentences in front of you, let alone anybody else. So I'm guessing all different levels too. So So someone that's just getting started and has no idea what to do.
Right. And
then there's probably people that maybe do pretty good in public speaking, but they want to polish it, so to speak, or maybe take it to another level. Or maybe they want to do television or things like that. Because I have helped somebody with television, and in this last class I've actually had that full spectrum. So people who are terrified to people who are pretty polished, which is the power of a group. Yeah. Right, because everybody can help everybody. Yeah, well said. All right, we're going to take our last break. Believe it or not, it's going quickly because it's such a great topic. We're going to come back. We have one more segment, so if you have any questions, last chance, 408-838-9060, 408-838-9060.